All right, here we go. Streaming for posterity. This is Voltgloss, continuing the Mythos Busters campaign play-along for the Arkham Horror: The Living Card Game. We're tackling the Edge of the Earth campaign. This is solo Charlie Kane and his menagerie of allies, both human and otherwise. We are continuing on where we left off last time, which was the end of Ice and Death Part 1. I'm going to try to move on through both Ice and Death Parts 2 and 3 today. Let's take a look at setup, and then we'll take a look at upgrades to the deck. We are beginning Ice and Death Part 2, and of course we begin with everybody's favorite part of the Edge of the Earth, adding a Frost token to the Chaos bag. We didn't have any token in the Chaos bag at this point. We managed to remove the starting one during Ice and Death 1. So we're going to pop that Frost token in there. We had removed one by using the Icebreaker Landing parlay. We chose to remove the Frost token instead of taking the small radio because I remain very skeptical that I'll be able to take even multiple supplies up the mountain in scenario 2, but we will see when we get there, probably next week. So we've added a Frost token. We have one missing person since we camped at the Remnants of Lakes camp, which is Shelter 7. Going to plop a little elder sign on there to indicate that that is our camp. As a recap, Professor Dyer fulfilled his name and had died in the plane crash. Mala Sinha is missing in action, which means since Dr. Amy Kensler is alive and not missing, she must be chosen to accompany me as my partner for this one, since she wants to find Dr. Sinha. That's slightly awkward in that I had used Dr. Kensler for Ice and Death 1, and she came out of there with 1 damage and 1 horror on her. But hey, that's just 1 med student away from getting fixed up. And she does come with an extra secret, an extra use for this scenario. And that's probably going to be helpful, since her investigate at base 5, I do find helpful for getting clues early in this scenario while Charlie is still getting set up. So let's see what else. Our starting resources are equal to the shelter value of the camp, so we have 7 to begin with. We are taking Dr. Kensler. We have Ice and Death 2 set up. We need to shuffle the possessed version of Dr. Malasina along with 8 story cards, which is all of the other available story cards. And we need to... Ooh, that's not shuffled. We need to dole them out to the uncharted locations, which is everywhere around the outer edge. The only ones that are not uncharted are the crash site and the 3 locations that are around the crash site. So let's shovel these up and let's plunk these all over the map. The story cards, when all 8 of the non-possessed person ones are in play, come out to a strategy talk. 2 cards that remove a Frost token. 4 cards that remove... Whoa, well, that's no good. We saw it in our hand. We saw where... Let's do that again. I should probably disable hands. Let's try that one more time. Shuffle that up. But as I was saying, 4 cards that remove Takeli Lees, 2 cards that remove Frost tokens, 1 card that removes a Skittering Nonsense, and 1 card that auto-solves one of the non-elite possessed characters, Lost Researcher or Frenzied Explorer, whichever the one is you need to over-succeed on an evade to handle. Key goals for this scenario for me. Also, let's recap what's revealed. Every location that has clues on it is revealed from Ice and Death 1. The 4 that I had not revealed are the Barrier Camp, the Rocky Crags, the Crystalline Cavern, and the Frigid Cave. Crystalline Cavern and Barrier Camp needing 4 clues to open, Rocky Crags needing 1 clue, Frigid Cave needing 2, and each of these face-down story cards requiring 1 clue spent to flip. Goals here. I want to get to Frigid Cave and obtain the... What is it? Mineral Specimen, I think it's called, the supply there, which will add a Frost token to the bag. In a perfect world, I would get that and also get both the story cards that remove Frost tokens, so I come out of this scenario still with no Frost in the bag. I also would like to find Malasina. I do want to save her. I would, even if I'm not going to actually use her, I think keeping her alive is better than not, since otherwise I'll be dealing with frostbitten weakness later in the campaign. It's rough enough that I'll have a possessed weakness with no way to get around it, since Dyer is well dead. And the more Tekeli leaves I can get out over the course of the scenario, obviously the better. I do have a reasonable chunk of them right now. 4 in particular. One that costs resources, one that does damage, one that does harm, one that costs an action. If I can get the miasmatic crystal in the crystalline cavern as a supply, and or the dynamite in the barrier camp, so much the better. It is possible, I've seen in my test runs, to accomplish all that, but that takes a certain amount of luck. So we will see how the cookies crumble. I finally have my Elder Sign and autofail trackers up. I got 2 autofails in the last scenario and no Elder Signs. We'll see how this treats me. I believe that's everything we need for setup. Yes, now ready to begin. Let's talk upgrades. I have 9 points coming into this scenario from Ice and Death 1. Since I got Shelter 7, I defeated the Terror in the Stars, and I got the bonus experience for this campaign from having accomplished the Ravenlord's Gambit, ending the scenario successfully with the Scrying Mirror in play. I'm going to spend 6 of those 9 points. I'm going to add Genet Beauregard, who is chained to cost 5 experience. Is an excellent ally. Intellect, agility, moving clues and enemies around, extremely valuable later in the scenario, later in the campaign, and still very valuable here. I'm also going to spend 1 point to add in Close the Circle. Now I have 1 Gang Up and 1 Close the Circle, which are, of course, the big synergy payoffs for a Guardian and Mystic Charlie Kane. This gives me more actions. This is true solo. I will take all the actions I can get. I'm probably not going to very much use the you can use your willpower instead of another skill part of this card. But the fact that I can use it to take a basic action during any free triggered ability window, that could come in handy. In particular, the simplest application of that is the window between when hunter enemies move and when they attack. So if I have this on the board, I can let a hunter enemy move in on me, and then I can use this to take, it would need to be a basic fight or evade before they make an attack. That could be handy. But even if not, frankly, even if I'm just using it to take extra move actions, for 2 resources and a card to get what is, with the eclectic set of cards in this deck, 4 or the full 5 charges, so 4 or 5 free actions, that I think is very valuable. I'm going to remove 1 copy of Greta Wagner and 1 copy of Jeremiah Kirby. I still have 1 of each in the deck. Given the restrictions and the need to keep 8 creature cards in the deck, I think what we're eventually going to have is a whole host of singleton ally cards and other singleton upgraded cards, and frankly, I think that is fine. I'm keeping 3 experience points back. If I succeed in finding Malasina, that'll be, and solving her, which is a couple of willpower parlays, then that'll be a victory point. And if I can complete the scenario with the Scrying Mirror in play, that'll be another victory point. 3 plus 2 is 5. I'll be able to put in another level 5 ally into my deck for Ice and Death Part 3. So let's delete these 2. Let's put these 2 cards into the deck. Let's shuffle that up. Let's see. We have, we have 3 points remaining. Charlie has his 1-1 trauma from In the Thick of It. As a reminder, we've got Jack of all trades as the task. Add 1 supply to this every time I play a asset whose class does not match a class among other non-permanent cards I then control. I want to get at least 4. I have the Ravenlord's Gambit. If I end with the Scrying Mirror in play, I get a bonus victory point. Yeah, I've got my cats for Miss Doyle set aside that I have thanks to Isolated. Dogs will keep me warm. I'm not going to get up to 3 frost tokens, at least in this scenario, but I have this as a backup later on. So let's give this a shot. 7 resources, shuffle up, opening hand. Put this to Kaylee back. Let's put this to Kaylee back. Okay. Janae Beauregard right at the beginning. You'll love to see it. Med student early is handy. Med student does double duty in this scenario because to solve Malasinha in a way that doesn't kill her, I need to succeed on 2 willpower parlays. It's only difficulty 2, but Med student is one of the few cards, allies in the deck that has a willpower icon, and therefore adds 2 to those tests. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep Janae and the Med student. There's much less combat in this scenario, so while I would love to have Machete and Guard Dog and Vicious Blow for Ice and Death 3, I think here I'm going to send them all back in the hopes of drawing some of my other premium allies. Let's see what we get. Well, we got an E-Cash. That's always good to have. A Stray Cat, you know what? That's fine. A Toe-to-Toe. If I use this to solve one skittering nonsense, that's fine as well. All right, let's shuffle those in. First round. Well, we're going to start with the obvious. We're going to spend 5 resources to plunk Janae Beauregard on the table. We have an extra intellect and an extra agility. We're going to spend 2 resources to play Med Student, and we'll use her to heal the damage and horror from Dr. Kensler. Why not? And are we going to investigate? Probably. Remnants of Lake's Camp is 3. Shroud. If I investigate without using Kensler's ability, we'll be at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on 3. I mean, the skulls here are -4, so that's okay, but not great. I think I am, in fact, going to start right off using one of Dr. Kensler's special investigates. So we're base 5, plus 1 from Janae is 6, 7, 8, 9 on 3. -1 is a pass. We get a clue, and we get to look at the top card. I'll do the encounter deck. Let's make sure I've shuffled this. What do we got? Polar Mirage. I think I'm going... Am I going to discard that? Polar Mirage will land here, and then I would need to junk my whole hand to get clues. Although the reality is, whatever I get, I could... I could just reasonably play them. Or I could move and use Janae to drag a clue from here over into the One Shroud Broad Snowdrifts. I would be leaving 1 clue on the table. But maybe that's okay. I can leave that clue there and use it at the end of the scenario once I circle back to the Remnants of Lake's Camp to resign, to potentially flip this card. And then I don't care about the Polar Mirage. I think I am going to let the Polar Mirage go. It's not immediately hitting me, and I can play around it. That's fine. Okay. No enemies on the board. We upkeep. We upkeep into second toe-to-toe. I may just eat the Polar Mirage. Possible. All right. 1. Let's draw that Polar Mirage. Plop that here. Now, do I want to spend the clue I have to flip that card right away? The question is, if it is Malasinha, am I prepared for her? And I'm not sure that that answer is yes. Again, I could circle back to the Remnants of Lake's Camp and do this one last. If it was Malasinha, then I could, what? I would have 2 3-point willpower parlays available. That's not great. I think I need at least a bit more, oomph. And I am seriously considering playing Stray Cat, playing E-Cash, and then just getting another clue and discarding both toe-to-toes. Sure, that leaves me without an answer to an early skittering nonsense. Or do I just move, get a head start on moving? I do like to go to the broad snowdrifts first and work on getting these clues, potentially using them to get to the crystalline cavern, and leaving this last clue here. The toe-to-toe is a useful insurance for a skittering nonsense, and I believe there are 3 in the deck. Reasonably likely that I will see one. Stray cat, move, investigated the broad snowdrifts. 2, 3, 4, 5 with the stray cat. No, I'm going to, yeah, I'm gonna keep the cards. Okay, so I am going to spend 1 to play the stray cat. I'm going to move, and I'm going to exhaust Genet to drag a clue with me. Where's Shroud 3? Easy enough. And then we're going to investigate. We're just going to investigate normally. We're at 2, 3, 4, 5. As a reminder, Charlie's special ability is that during a test, I can exhaust an ally asset to get +1 skill value, plus an additional +1 for each matching icon on the asset. Even if they have no matching icons, or in the case of the partners, no icons at all, it's still a +1. So we are testing 5 against 1. -3 is a pass. We get a clue. And let's see. This is shelter 4, so the skulls are -2. Okay. All right. No enemies. Upkeep. We upkeep into a Tekelili. We take a damage. That's fine. Mythos. We're at 2 of 5. 0 visibility. Okay. Well, that's not an immediate issue, and maybe I'll test it away at the end of the round. Let's see. Is this just a round where we get 2 clues and move down to the snow graves to get some more clues? I think it might be. There's no reason to play E-Cash at this point. Let's see. How much do I want to throw into taking tests? I'd like to get rid of the 0 visibility. So let's see. Snow graves, the skulls will be -3. Can I get up to a 5 on this test when I take it? Genet is obviously 2. A stray cat is also +2, since that's agility. So maybe what we do is a Kensler investigate here, and then a Genet investigate here. That would be testing at 6 for one, 4 for the other. Then we move down, and stray cat and med student will give me a 5 on this 0 visibility test. Yes, I think that's the play. So first action, we're going to do another Kensler investigate. With a boost from Genet, we are testing 6 against 1. Skull is a -2, so that's a pass. We get a clue. Let's take a look at the top card. Through the ice. So if I get this other clue, move down, then next turn we'll have it through the ice. We can get the 2 clues. I'm with a +1, and with Genet, I have agility icon. So this is a test that I could reasonably pass. So I think I'm okay with having a through the ice here. So I'll put that back. Okay. So that was 1 clue. I'm going to investigate again, exhausting Genet. So I'm testing 4 against 1. A skull is again -2, so that's another pass. I get another clue. Right. Did a clue just go away? I had 2 from here. 2 from here. No, we're good. We're good. Okay, and now we're just going to move down into the snow graves. Now we're going to test 0 visibility. We are at 2, 4, 5 on 2. Cultist is -2. That's a pass. Okay. No enemies on the board. We upkeep to guard dog. I mean, there are other allies I would prefer to see, but it's still an ally that I can exhaust to a test. Okay. Mythos, we're at 3 of 5. Let's draw that through the ice. Let's plop that right here. Okay. Now, 2 clues. Now, do I spend 1 to flip this? If this is Malicina, then I could get 1 good parlay off. Shelter 5, so the skulls are -3. Whoops, wrong way. Which means I would love to be able to get up to 5 on the parlays. However, I can only get up to 3, 4. I can only get up to 1 5-point parlay. Maybe what I do is investigate with Kensler first. Options. I could investigate with Kensler. If I don't exhaust anything else, I'd be testing 6 on 3, which is reasonable here. I could investigate again. I need to tap everybody else to again get up to 6 on 3. The 1 in 9 chance that this is Malicina. Maybe I just pull it now. But if I do, then I can parlay once effectively. But I can't use the cat to evade because she's elite, and the stray cat is only for non-elite. Alternately, I could slower roll a bit by playing Emergency Cash and then Guard Dog, so I have 4 allies. Then I could do 1 Investigate. And then next turn, I could spend a clue to flip this. And if it's Malicina, maybe I flip it as before my 3rd action. Because in a perfect world, I would get 1 good parlay at the end of the round. Then she'd hit me. She does a damage and a horror, but that's fine. We have plenty of soak. And then next round, with a full set of icons, we could parlay and succeed again. So that would be do 2 things first, but keep enough exhausts to be able to get the willpower, a good willpower parlay. Which would mean keeping back at least, I think, all of these. Right? So I could parlay at 5. So I could do a Kensler Investigate, for example. And then I could play Emergency Cash so that the action isn't wasted. And then flip the card. And if it's not Malicina, then I can do another Investigate. The only possible drawback is if my next card here is Paranoia. In which case, then I'll lose all the resources that I gain from the Emergency Cash. But that is a 1 in 29 chance. What are the chances of that? 1 in 29. Now that I've talked about it, probably getting higher all the time. But I do think that is the play. So we're going to do a Kensler Investigate, which with Janae's boost, we're testing 6 on 3. -1 is a pass. We get a clue. And let's see the next card. An Ice Shaft. That's fine. I can take that. Now we're going to play Emergency Cash for 3 resources. Now we're going to spend 1 to flip this card. Not Malicina. It's handle a possessed enemy, which there aren't any of, so that is unfortunately wasted, but there's no way. It is what it is. So let's do 1 more Investigate. Unless... No. I was thinking I could move here and use Janae to pull the clue, but what I want to do is move and use Janae to pull this clue down here. Next round. So we're going to investigate. We're at 2, 4, 5, 6 on 3. Skull is -3. That's an exact pass. We get another clue. Okay. All right, no enemies on the board. We upkeep. Scrying Mirror. Okay, good. 4 out of 5 Doom. Draw Ice Shaft. I might just eat this. Because I do want to keep agility icons for getting past through the ice. Because what will my turn look like? 2, 4 against maybe 5. Stray cat this. Move up here. Use Janae to pull the clue down. Do my last Kensler investigate, maybe. Get this clue, so I'm not losing tempo. And play Scrying Mirror or Guard Dog. I suppose I could throw one icon at this. Because I could play Guard Dog to get one more icon. But let's think this through. If I did the Stray Cat and the Med Student, for example, that would be 5 against 3. That would at least cover through this. But then I wouldn't have agility icons for this. And the bigger issue with the Through the Ice is that if I fail it, it eats up an action. So no, I think... Toe-to-toes have agility icon. I could commit one of them to at least be cover that. Nah, I'm just going to take this. 2 on 3. Just when you're 1 down on a test, you just pull the -1 and pass. That's all you have to do. Easy game. Sure it is. All right, so we are going to play. Do I want the Guard Dog? Do I want the Scrying Mirror? Guard Dog is immediately helping by giving another +1 to tests, even though it's not ideally situated. Scrying Mirror will let me give me intel for the tests so that I can commit more intelligibly. I think I am going to do the Scrying Mirror first, in case I draw a more immediately relevant ally with my next draw. Then I can play that instead of Guard Dog. And if I don't, then I'll play Guard Dog next turn. But I am going to play the Scrying Mirror. Now we're going to attempt to move. We're testing 2 on 2, 5 on 2, 6 on 2. No, 2, 4, 5 on 2. What am I saying? 5 on 2. Oof! That is unfortunate. All right, so I don't move. I take a damage and a horror. That's fine. All right. We are going to move, and I'm going to use Janae to pull this clue down to here. Do I want that clue? No. Let's pull this clue down to here. Unless the agenda is about to advance, which will give me a look at a face-down card. I could look at this card and see if the Crystalline Cavern is something I truly care about going into. I do have 5 clues. 1 more 6. Spend 1 here. No, I'll pull this clue here. I think we are going to go through Crystalline Cavern. We have the clues to do it. Okay, that's the end of my turn. No enemies on the board. We upkeep into a vicious blow. I don't need all these combat things. All right, this ticks over. Agenda advances. We could choose a face-down counter card and look at the other side. Maybe we won't look at this one. I think what we will look at, since I'm heading in this direction, I want to know if the icebreaker landing one all the way out here is relevant. And if so, how relevant? So, let's take a look. It's a frost removal. So, that is important to know for a couple reasons. One, I do want both frost removals, but for them to both be effective, I need to actually get the extra frost token here first. This means I can flip cards with impunity going up there, as long as I'm prepared for Malacina, because I know the second frost removal is way over here. Okay, that's valuable. All right, let's see our Mythos card. It is Antarctic Wind. I can't play cards or draw cards in this location. Well, you know what? That's fine. I draw the encounter card. Draw cards in their deck. I can still flip this, notwithstanding the Antarctic Wind. So that's fine. Okay, this should not be an issue. All right. Investigation. You know what? Let's play Guard Dog. First action. Now let's spend a clue to flip this card. Remove a frost token from the chaos bag. I'll take it. Now, let's get this clue, and then we'll move. And let's see. Can I leave Janae unexhausted so that then she can punt one clue from this high shroud location over to here? I think we probably can. It's only shroud 1. We're at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on 1. Skulls -2. So we pass. Get another clue. Okay. And last action, we move. We're going to spend 4 clues to open the crystalline cavern. And I'm going to exhaust Janae to move a clue from here up to the Rocky Crags. Right? Her ability, move a clue or non-elite enemy from connecting location to your location or vice versa, does not have to be revealed. If I can use her to move a clue from where I am to a location I have yet to be. All right. No enemies on the board. We upkeep Mysterious Raven. That's good. I'll need to make space for them. I think the next time, well, I was going to say next time I get hit, the med student can go. But until I have accomplished the parlays, that willpower icon is useful. All right, well, let's see what our Mythos card is. We are at 1 out of 5. A Lost Researcher. Okay, so any location empty if able. So I can put them up here. I have time, since the agenda just ticked over, and that'll be an extra clue so long as I accomplish this parlay. Okay, sounds good. Now, I will need 1 clue to open this location. There are, of course, 2 more clues here to get. I can spend a clue to flip this. I think I do want to. It's a shame that this is the card that would have resolved that. Lost Researcher. But I do want to flip this. Are we going to stay here? I can do 1 last Kensler Investigate. 6. It is an agility test to get the miasmic crystal. The skulls here are -4, which makes this a challenge. Can I get up to 9? I mean, I can. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only if I exhaust everybody. Maybe I do the miasmic crystal test with the scrying mirror. Exhaust the stray cat into that and whomever else I need. Then play the mysterious raven over the stray cat since I'll have accomplished the main agility test. Then get a clue. Next round, I'll get another clue. Move up here. Deal with the lost researcher. Because even if I draw an Ancient Evils, I will still have a turn. As long as I get a clue. Maybe first, before anything else, I spend this clue and flip this card. Yeah, let's do that. What is it? Search top 9 cards of your deck for each Tekeli Lee and put them in the Tekeli Lee deck. Well, let's see if we get any. Search 9. Tekeli Lee! We got one. That's fine. Shuffle that up. Put this Tekeli Lee away. Goes in the victory display. All right. That's fine. Let's attempt the agility test. And I'm going to use the scrying mirror to see what my token is. -1. So we need to get up to 6 agility. So 4. Do I just use Genet? And I guess it really doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, so we get up to 6 on 5. We accomplished that test. That was my first action. I'll put a resource token here as a reminder that we got the miasmic crystal. It's fine. So now I can Kensler investigate, which would be 6, 7, 8. No, I should play the Raven first so that I add its boost into that test. Yeah, so I'm going to spend a resource to play the Raven. I'll discard the Stray Cat. Now we're going to investigate. Let's see, 2. What if I don't use Kensler? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on 5. It's not great. I am going to use Kensler, use her last one of these. 6, 8, 9, 10. -1. That's pass. We get a clue. One more time, we get to look at the encounter deck. Another through the ice. Well, I could get a clue. I could move 4. But I need to accomplish that parlay. Oh, whoops, that's not what I want. This test is a difficulty 3, but I can use intellect. So if, say, I exhausted Genet and Kensler, we'll at least get up to 3 up on the through the ice test. Then I'd be able to test with the Raven, the Guard Dog, the Med Student, 4, 5, 6 against 3 for this parlay, which is pretty good. Yeah. Move parlay. And then I could just move again if needed. Yeah, I think we're fine with this through the ice. Oop. There we go. All right. There are no enemies on the board. Well, there are, but doesn't do anything. Just stands there menacingly. Whoops. We did not upkeep. Second scrying mirror. Well, is what it is. 2 of 5 plus 1 on the lost researcher. There's that through the ice. Okay. Do I sack the Raven to get this clue? Maybe. Crowd 5's a lot. Alternately, I could move. I could use Genet to bring the clue over here. Then deal with the parlay. I think that might be better. To use Genet to bring this clue over here where the shroud is lower. And then I can even get it after I've done the frigid cave. All right. So we're going to move. And, you know, I think I'm going to use the scrying mirror for this through the ice test. Oh, this Antarctic wind should have discarded a while back. So, what are we testing against? A -1. So we only need 1. So we'll exhaust Kensler to get up to 3 against 2 and pass the through the ice test. So we'll move up here. We will use Genet to drag the clue with us. The Lost Researcher engages us. We are going to parlay them. We'll use Intellect. 4. 5, 6. Oh, we have to flip this over and we have to spend this clue. Where did the oh yeah, that's actually 2 clues. Why that's why that's looking a bit weird. 1 second. What's happening here? That's more clues than there should be here. Yes? No, because no, there are 4 clues here because I shoved 1 from the cavern up here. And then I shoved another from the cavern up here when I left. So there are indeed 4 clues in this location. Yes, that's fine because we got 2 here, 4, 6, the one from there is 7, 1 from here was 8, and I have spent 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 to get in here. 8. We're good. We are good. Right. So we're parlaying. What we got? 2, 4, 5, 6 seconds. 3. Elder Sign. So that's +3. So we pass. And I ready an ally at my location. I mean, I can ready Genet to attempt to investigate here, maybe with my last action. But I get this as a clue, and this character discards. Okay. I have 1 more action. I can't go in here yet until I have 2 clues to spend. I could investigate. Genet would make it 4 against 3. The skulls are -2. I could commit this other scrying mirror and make it 5 on 3. I think to keep tempo, that might be the play, because I don't think I'm going to play a second scrying mirror. Yeah, we're going to keep tempo going. We're going to investigate. With Genet, we're 4 on 3. And I am going to commit this other scrying mirror to make it 5 on 3. +1. Didn't need to do it. That's fine. I'll take the clue. Okay. No enemies. We upkeep in 2. Second med student. That's not bad. At an opportune moment, I could sack the Raven, play second med student. They're not unique, so you can both be out, and that'll help us for parleying when Malicina is found. We're at 3 of 5 Doom. Ancient Evils, we're at 4 of 5 Doom. We got to keep moving. Okay. Let's think this through. We get a clue. We have 2 clues. I'm going to spend a clue. No. Shroud here is 3. We could get, let's see. Can we get up to, and the skulls are -2? Yes, the skulls are -2. Can we get up to a 5 investigate twice? 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, and a 6. So we could investigate twice and then move. I think that's the play, because I do want to go up here. To get the specimen, mineral specimen, and then we can flip this card on our way out. Yes. Okay. All right, we're going to investigate. Let's do the 5. Yeah, 5 first. So we'll exhaust Genet. 4, and the med student makes it 5 on 3. Goes -2. That's an exact pass. Now we're going to investigate again. 4, 5, 6 on 3. -1 is a pass. We get another clue. And then last action, we will move. We'll spend 2 clues. Move on up into the frigid cave. Okay. No enemies. We upkeep into machete. I've just got all the combat. All right. This ticks over. Okay. Which card do we look at? I'm thinking it may be the barrier camp, because we're not moving with as much speed as I would like. And if we don't need this, let's do some math. I have 2 clues presently. If we don't need this and we don't go here, then to get the rest of the cards, I just need 3 more clues. So that could, and then I could go around through this way. So that would be, how many total actions? 3 investigates, 2, because I could sack the Raven for 1 without spending an action. So that'd be 2, 3, move, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, resign. So that's just, that's 4 turns. If we have to go here, then I would need, I need all these clues. Yeah, let's see if this is important. It is to remove a Takalili from your deck. That, while absolutely useful, is, I think, not paramount. So unless I suddenly get Close the Circle, or Leo DeLuca, maybe we forego the barrier camp. In Ice and Death 3, the Seeping Nightmare will be in the barrier camp, which means I would need to gather 4 clues to be able to go there and fight it. Which is not nothing. Let's see how the next few turns play out. This is a useful piece of information. Also, I have not been putting resources on Jack of all Trades, but I have yellow and green, I have red, I have blue, I have purple. We've completely accomplished this. All right. All right. We know what we know, because we also need to spend 2 actions at least dealing with Malacina. Let's get our Mythos card. White out. Skills are down by 1 in this location for the round. Yeah, I think I need to forego the barrier camp and focus on clearing these. One of them is Malacina, to be able to get back here in time. Which means I don't really need to test here, unless this is Malacina, in which case is what it is. But first, let's do that action. Let's recover the mineral specimen, and let's add a frost token to the chaos bag. Now we're going to spend a clue. Whoops. Let's see what this card is. It is indeed Dr. Malasina. So, parlaying with her here, we'd be testing base 0 on 2. We can get up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This med student is a willpower commit. I could, of course, do one parlay and then move. She'll smack us for 1 and 1, and then she'll smack us for 1 and 1 again in the enemy phase. But I'm not super concerned about that. Janae can take a hit. This med student can take a hit. Charlie can still take a hit. In a perfect world, though, we draw well enough to accomplish these parlays now. So let's attempt to parlay. Let's use the mirror. What's our token? It is a cultist. So we'd need to get up to 4. We're at 0 because of the whiteout. So 2, 3, 4. So that's successful. That puts 1 on her. But I'd only be able to get up to 2 on the other parlay. I think it's important to not lose tempo. So even though it's going to hurt, I'm going to move. Yeah, we're going to move. She hits us for 1 and 1. Charlie can still take it. I guess I can put 1 on guard dog. Yeah, we'll put 1 on guard dog. We're not going to use his reaction to damage, but we'll put 1 on guard dog and we'll put 1 horror on Charlie. We move back down to here. I guess I might as well use Janae to pull one of these clues back with us. No reason not to. Okay. Enemy phase. Malasina hits us again for 1 and 1. Again, I'll put 1 on the guard dog, and I'll put the horror. I'll put the horror on Charlie. That's fine. Upkeep. Paranoia. We lose all our resources. Technically, we still have 1 because you draw a card and then get a resource. I mean, I would have liked to be able to play this med student, but it's not the end of the world. Mythos, 1 of 6. What do we get? Band into Madness. So this attaches to her because she's possessed. So a doom goes on her. And the difficulty to parley with her increases by 1. I mean, we just need to not fail the parlay test. Curious. No, this doesn't work on elites. All right, well, let's parlay. Parlay, move. So it's difficulty 4. And in this location, skulls are -2. So I'd love to get up to 6. I'd love to get even higher. You know what? Heck it. This is probably the most important remaining test. I am going to use the scrying mirror on this parlay. Last charge. What's our token? It's a frost. Now, you perform the step before committing cards. So this frost token, I do move on to what the next one is. A 0. So we only need to be 1 up. So we need to get up to 4 on our parlay, which is Med Student and Kensler. And we pass. We put a second resource on Malasina. We add her to the victory display. The Doom goes away because she's out of play. And Abandon Madness discards. Okay. Now, I'm going to spend a clue. Draw this card. Discard an Eidolon that doesn't have elite, i.e. remove a skittering nonsense. There aren't any, is what it is. Okay. Now we're going to move over this way. And I just need 3 more clues. So I needed 2 investigates, and I can sack the Raven at the end for this. I think all of these... Yeah, these are both removed to Kaylee Lee's. I do want those. This is the other remove of Frost. We're leaving the barrier camp for next time. That's fine. So, are we going to just move? Move and then investigate? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to move down to the treacherous path. And we are going to investigate. We're at 2, 4, 6, 7. My token. Elder Sign. It doesn't really matter. Ready, Genet. But we get another clue. Okay. No enemies on the board. We upkeep into Astral Travel. Honestly, maybe relevant. Could be. Could be. We're at 2 of 6 Doom. Polar Vortex. That's pretty much free. Because we're about to leave. I could move twice. I could get a clue here and then move. Move, clue, move. And spend 1 to remove some to Kaylee Lee's. Yeah, I think that's the play. So, we're going to move to the Precarious Ice Sheet. We're going to try to get a clue. It's Shroud 4, but we can throw everybody at this. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, just in case we get Frost into -4. We're 9 on 4. -1 is a pass. We get this clue. And then we move into the Icy Wastes. And I am going to spend a clue. That was my last action. To draw this. Search your deck for a Kaylee Lee and put it on the bottom of the deck. Okay, let's get the one that removes an action. Shuffle that up. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. No enemies on the board. We upkeep into my other Tekeli Lee. I take a horror. I'll put it on Genet. So, that actually means I don't need this. Because this is remove it to Kaylee Lee. Unless I get it to Kaylee Lee, which is always possible. But if I don't, then I could just resign. I could even try to get 4 clues and open this location. But I want to get all this, I want to do this first. So that I'm ready to move and resign right away if, you know, the other Ancient Evils show their heads. Okay, Mythos. 3 of 6. Yeah, there's probably not time to get those 4 clues. It's fine. I mean, skittering nonsense. This will give me a Tekeli Lee. Which Tekeli Lee? It's not a big deal. This is why I kept toe-to-toe. And the guard dog can take it. Yeah. Med student could as well. It's not a big deal. Let's play. If I do toe to toe, then I move. I can spend this clue to do this. Remove the frost. Then, frankly, I could just move again. Next turn will be 4 on 6, maybe 5 on 6 because of the Ancient Evils. I move, resign. Use the Raven to get one last clue. That's fine. Yeah. So we'll play toe to toe. Do 2 damage. The enemy makes an attack. The med student can eat that. This guy is defeated. I do get a Tekelili. Look at my deck. All right. Second action, move up to Icebreaker Landing. I'm going to spend this clue to flip this card, which we know is remove a frost token from the chaos bag. Don't mind if I yes. And then we're going to move again. We're going to play Astral Travel. Because there isn't time to get 4 clues, open this, do stuff here. No. That's just going to be a test, an attempt for Ice and Death 3. So yeah, we'll play Astral Travel. If I get a symbol token, I have to discard an item or ally I control, so I can be the guard dog. All right, so we play Astral Travel. We blip back down to here. Our token. It is a skull, so we discard the guard dog. That's fine. Okay. There are no enemies. We upkeep into Familiar Spirit. Mythos, 4 of 6. Draw a card. It is a Frenzied Explorer, which engages with some doom on it. But we're not going to have to deal with it because we are just going to immediately sack the Raven to discover this clue and take a horror, which can discard Janae. That's fine because we're done. We're going to spend this clue to flip this card, which is search your top 9 for Tekelili. Let's see if we find the one that went into our deck. We have a 50-50 chance. We did not get it. That's fine. And then we resign. Per the act deck. All right. Not bad. We didn't get everything, but we come out of here with only 1 Tekelili in the deck, which is fine. We got the Crystalline Cavern and the Frigid Cave supplies. This should be discarded. We got out of here. Thank you. We got out of here with no frost tokens in the bag. We will need to get 4 clues in Ice and Death 3 to get into the barrier camp. But if I get the card that I want, I may be wanting to get clues anyway. So let's record and we have the Scrying Mirror in play. So we do end with 2 victory points. So that means we now have 5 victory points to spend. We've completed part 2. Malasina is saved. She comes back into the rotation. Kensler is all healed up. So she doesn't have any. Come on, you tokens. She's got nothing on her. So let's record that. Answers down to 0 and 0. Right. And we now also have the miasmic crystal and the mineral specimen. Let's write that down. Locations revealed, all but barrier camp. Okay. Let's move right along. I didn't, should reveal the act. Right, resolution 1. Come on. There we go. Resolution 1. We get 1 experience from Malicina, plus 1 from the Scrying Mirror. Record damage and horror. Malicina survived. She's no longer MIA. So, checkpoint 2, the attack. I decide whether I'm going to run or I'm going to fight. And I am going to try to fight. Attack 3, we do so immediately. Locations stay in play. Cards removed. We reset the investigator and counter deck. Proceed to Ice and Death Part 3. And we add a Frost token to the Chaos bag. Once again, we have 7 resources since we're at Shelter 7. For this scenario, I'm going to bring Elia Ashevak as my partner. So let's do that setup. Let's see. Everything here. Back into my deck. Reset to 1 damage and 1 horror. 7 resources. This guy is discarded. The 5 points I have, I'm going to spend to add Michael Lee to the deck. Another multi-class ally adds intellect and combat. When I investigate, I get to put evidence on him, and then I can spend that evidence to essentially, he's like vicious blows on a stick. And lots of damage and horror soak, an excellent ally. We reset to 1 intellect and 1 agility, and I'm going to remove from the deck, again, I'm going to remove my other Greta Wagner. Greta Wagner is a fine ally. I may return her to the deck in her level 3 incarnation later on. But right now, she's getting upgraded into Michael Lee. In you go, sir. Shuffle that up. Here's an evidence marker that I can use to, mark that. Let's remove these. When I report my results, I'll note that I got a progress on Jack of all trades. And now let's do all this. Oh, I guess Polar Mirage triggered. I discarded all my cards at the end of the scenario, but that didn't matter because I didn't use any of them. All right, let's get all these. Put these here. These here. Probably a faster way to do this. Shuffle that in. Gone. Okay, Tequila Lees stay unchanged. Let us place Ice and Death 3. Guess we recall Ice and Death 2. Place Ice and Death 3. Okay. All right. So all locations revealed except for the barrier camp. This should have been discarded as well. Fine. Everything's fine. We reset this. We reshuffle this. All locations have clues that are revealed except for the camp. So again, I'll put an elder sign there, a little elder sign to mark that that's the camp. Right. 1 at each of these spots. 2 here. 2 here. 3 in the cavern. 2 here and 2 here. Okay. I will need 4 to get in here. What else setup-wise? Let's get Elia Ashevak on the board. So with 1 player, we have 1 Seeping Nightmare, with all 8 Eidolon enemies underneath it. And since we are camped at the Remnants of Lakes camp, it spawns at the barrier camp. 1, the other 3 go away. Here's the deck of Eidolons. We're going to reshuffle that. We'll reshuffle this. And I think we are ready to plow right into it. let's take a look. We should be at 1 horror. Let's take a look at our opening hand. Tequila. Oh, and Burden of Leadership, too. Okay. So this is interesting. So Gang Up is, of course, a solve for the Seeping Nightmare. If I manage to get in there with all 5 classes represented on my board, which is, frankly, eminently doable, then that is a 6 damage hit and would defeat the Seeping Nightmare all at once. So I think I'm going to hang on to that. Miss Doyle is just flat out excellent. Jeremiah Kirby, early on, will give me a shot at looking at my top 5 to pull, I would call odd. Looking for Machete, Scrying Mirror, and or both Janae. Janae costs 5. Michael Lee only costs 4, so I would not be getting him. I honestly think that maybe I just toss the Raven back. Now, I do need 4 clues to get into here. So, do I keep the Raven? Do I keep all of this? First turn could be Kirby, Miss Doyle, Voice of Ra. Second turn, Raven, whatever else I get. I guess Raven is less important since I'll have Jeremiah. I'll be at 2, 4, 6 with Miss Doyle, at least 8, maybe more if I get Augur, who lets me investigate at a base 5. The Raven is less important. So I will toss the Raven back. I've traded a bird for a cat. I mean, honestly, this could be relevant if I need to make a clutch evade, which on this state absolutely could happen. So we'll shuffle those back in. Okay. Let's get started. And we are going to start right away with Jeremiah Kirby. 3, 4. We're going to call odd. Let's look at our Menagerie. Are all trying to get in the action. That's true. I got Miss Doyle. The one thing I'm missing is the Rod of Animalism. If I call it even, I might find it. But I think it's more important that I try to find the Machete, Scrying Mirror, something along those lines. I'm going to feel real foolish if it's there in the top 5, but whatever. We're calling odd. Search 5. Well, you're right about the Menagerie getting in on the action. We're getting the Familiar Spirit, and we're getting that Raven back. Whatever. That could have been better, but it's fine. Jeremiah is Seeker, so that's 1 here. So let's now spend 3 to play Miss Doyle. I'm actually going to put her here, and I'm going to put the cat she summons into the tarot slot. We have Zeal. We have the fight one. The other 2 back in. I should have played her first and then Jeremiah. He could have pulled some of the other cats because they cost 1. That was a misplay. It's fine. Everything's fine. And now we're going to voice a Ra. We get a resource. And we get 4 more resources. Because it's each symbol. Okay. All right. No enemies on the board yet. We upkeep in 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 6. No, the 8 creatures. I'm just missing some guard dogs. Okay. Fine. We're at Mythos 1. Let's make sure that's shuffled. What is our encounter card? It is a Polar Vortex. That's fine. We're not going to stay here. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not stay here. Now, strategy. I need 4 clues to get in the barrier camp. The camp is connected to when an Eidolon is moving. If it's at the Seeping Nightmare's location, then its location is connected to the camp. If I park here at the Frozen Shores, then I am exactly 3 locations away from the barrier camp, by 3 different routes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3. So by being here, when hunter enemies start to move from here, I can choose which way they go, and I can split them up. I can have one coming this way, one coming this way, one coming this way. So that is where ultimately I want to be. Now, the issue is I've got a bunch of red. I've got this one purple. I need more different color cards. Do I draw cards? Well, first we're going to move, because we're not staying here. So we'll move to the broad snowdrifts. Do I just draw, then investigate, ring around the crash site? Yeah, I mean, this is 2 of the needed clues, right? Shroud 1. This is a clue, that's a clue. So it may just be that. But I do need more cards. And the one thing that I don't have a lot of right now is card draw. I do have a plan for dealing with that after this scenario. But right now, I think I just need to draw. Now, the one risk for drawing mid-turn, of course, is Burden of Leadership, which would require me to exhaust or damage all of the allies, damage and harm. So I don't want to draw after I've exhausted characters. Now I could spend resources to play these other allies. I could play the Familiar Spirit. It is another towards gang up, and it does add willpower, which is helpful for mythos protection. But frankly, I think I first want to draw, because we need some more cards. So we're going to draw a card. Second Voice of Ra. I need the resources, I'll be able to do it. And now I'm going to investigate. So 1, actually 2. So 4, 6, 8, 9. 1. 0. Pass. 1 clue. Okay. No enemies. We upkeep in 2. A vicious blow. That's good. Mythos. So we're at 2. This resets and an enemy spawns. Which one is it? It is a manifestation of madness. Okay. And this is whiteout. Polar vortex goes away. All right, so I'm going to want to move here. Get a clue, move. Do I draw again? I am still... When having Zeal on deck is good. Nah, if I draw, then I'm going to have to discard at the end of the round. I think I investigate, play the Familiar Spirit for the Mythos protection and the additional class. 4 damage getting up. And then move. Yep. And I might as well play the Familiar Spirit first. We'll investigate. Round 1 with the whiteout. We're testing at 1. 1, 3, 5, 7. That's 1. Plenty. Plus 1. We get a clue. Last action. Move here. All right. Enemies. Which direction do I want to send this? I think I'm going to send it to the camp. So it's coming up behind me. All right. We upkeep into Scrying Mirror. And that's useful. That's handy. Mythos. Whiteout discards. We're at 1. We're at 2. So another enemy spawns right away. A skittering nonsense. Okay. Fine. Let's see. If I move here, then this guy could go 1, 2, 3, or he could go 1, 2, 3. I could still send him down to this side. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Whoops. We are going to spend 3 to play the Scrying Mirror. We're going to investigate. 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 on 2. That's a pass. We get a clue. And we're going to move. Ancient Evils. The name of the game. Kind of. Alright, that's fine. Enemies. Manifestation of Madness comes after me down here. Skittering Nonsense is moving over here. Okay. We upkeep into any cash. I am... Draw the combat cards in the scenario where I didn't need them. Now I'm drawing all the things that are not. It's fine. Mythos, 1 of 2. 0 visibility. Well, hopefully that won't be an issue. So, I could move. I could defeat the skittering nonsense with a fight with Vicious Blow. And play a card. Play one of these. Probably the cat, so that I have an evade on tap. Alternately, I could move and attack twice and save the Vicious Blow. I do have to also remember I've got Elia, which is an evade and move. So here's an no, I'm one clue short. I was thinking I could move here, use Elia to evade and move in here, and zap the thing with a gang up with Vicious Blow, which won't kill it, but would do 5. And I could finish it off with Zeal next turn. The sooner I defeat the Seeping Nightmare, the better, because then that removes from the game all the other enemies under it. I would then have like 6 turns to mop up the remainder. Now, unfortunately, I can't go in there because I don't have the 4 clues yet. I would need to get 1 more clue. So, if I get the clue, move. If I defeat this, another enemy is going to spawn. But I have cats. No, probably better. It's tricky, isn't it? I do want to defeat this as quickly as possible. Probably should have sent the skittering nonsense the other way. Oh no, I was here. I didn't have that option really. So if I get this clue, I move in. If I got the clue, moved in on this, and then evaded in, then the Seeping Nightmare will hit me for 2 and 2. Elia could take that. Then this skittering nonsense will be here. Seeping Nightmare will be here. Another enemy will spawn. If this is a Phantasmagoria, then 2 enemies would spawn. That would be an issue. No, I think I want to at least have a stray cat on the board before I move in there. So that tells me get a clue, move. The other option is to move, get a clue. No, I don't want the seeping. I don't want that moving in. If I move here, precarious ice sheet, get a clue and do a thing. Manifestation moves here. This moves here. New enemy spawns here. If I played a moved, investigated, play a cat. The next turn I could potentially move. Do the gang up hit on this with Vicious Blow. Throw a cat at the other enemy. Finish this off next round. I do have additional evades with Elia. If I got a clue, moved, evaded in with Elia, I will take 2 and 2. Another enemy will spawn. The next round, I could gang up with Vicious Blow. I could Zeal. And if I needed to, I could Elia away. But if 3 enemies show up, but the longer I take, the more likelihood more enemies will spawn. Let's see. This is only Shroud 2. I could investigate. Yeah. With Kirby, 4 on 2, 5 on 2. I could move. I could evade using Elia. We would be at, is a 4, 5, 7 on 4. And then I could attempt to pass this 0 visibility, 4 on 2. I think I need to go for it. I think I need to move quickly. Because this needs to go. Otherwise, the board state will just fill up. We're going to go for it. All right, I'm investigating. We are at 2, 4, 5. 5 on 2. Tablets -3. That's an exact pass. We get a clue. Gonna move in. Skittering nonsense engages. We're going to Elia evade. 5 on 4. 7 on 4. Auto fail. Well, I guess that answers the question for me. I'm not moving in. Let's try to kill this with my last action. No, that was my last action. I don't get to try to kill it because I investigated, moved, and then evaded. Okay. All right. Well, enemies. So I get hit for 1 and 1. We'll put that on Elia. Oh, I had to do this test. So with Miss Doyle, I'm testing 4 on... No, I'm testing 3 on 2. What is this skull? Skulls here are -2. I'm actually going to commit one of these stray cats. 4 on 2. Pass. And don't get it to Kaylee Lee. Okay. This guy moves over here. Upkeep. Let's get something useful. Okay. That is useful. Mythos. Another enemy spawns. Ugh. Of course, it's a glacial phantasm. Biggins. All right. What's our card? Kindred Mist. And it surges, because when a treachery is attached here, it gains surge. So I also get an ice shaft. This is going less than well. Let's think this through. If I defeat... Where is it? If I defeat this here, then the Tekeli Lee hits me. Now, I could maybe Elia away from it down here. In which case, then this guy will move here. The skittering nonsense will be here, and this thing will be here. And there'll be a death ball of 3 enemies here. I could Elia in. And then I could do the plan that I talked about. 1, 2, 3. So a 4 damage gang up. And then a zeal hit boosted with vicious blow, which would defeat the Seeping Nightmare. I will take a hit from the Glacial Phantasm for 1 and 1. It will not give me Tekeli Lee's, because when the Glacial Phantasm, when any enemy attacks in the enemy phase, it exhausts thereafter. And this thing, its whole moves, and then you get Tekeli Lee's, only triggers if it is ready at the end of the enemy phase. So if I manage to do that, then these go away. This is gone. I'll be here with this engaged, and these 2 enemies in this spot. I think that may be the play. But so that's all a long way of saying, what, if anything, am I committing to the ice shaft, or am I just going to take this on the chin? I might be taking it on the chin. I'm not committing the second stray cat. I'm not committing the toe-to-toe. What will I need to test? I will need to boost my gang up. The gang up... I mean, I guess I might as well throw the vicious blow into... No, if I discard him... What's the Seeping Nightmares fight? It's 3. In this location, unfortunately, the skulls will be -4. So I'd want to get up to 7. There is no... No! I forgot. I forgot to put a frost in the bag at the beginning. I've rectified it now. Technically, that should have been in the bag. I don't think I ever had any exact passes. I think there was one. There was one exact pass where I pulled the cultist token. Here, let's just pull a random token to see if I get the frost. This is not part of this test. This is just to see if that token pull would have been a frost. No, it was not. At least I remembered now before the really involved stuff. I think everything else I was passing handily, and with only one frost in the bag, there wouldn't have been a chance of frost into frost extra autofail. All right. Point being, am I committing anything to this? Gang up will give me +4 on the attack. If I commit the vicious blow... No. Yes? No. It'll give me +3. So I'd be swinging at 4. With this, I'd be swinging at 5. I would definitely use the scrying mirror on that. But say it comes up a -4, and I do, in fact, need to use, say, Miss Doyle. Then for Zeal, I'd be swinging at 5, 6, 7... I think I just take this on the chin. I need the commit. I need to keep the commits for this turn because I'm going to be handling this. All right, let's just take it. 1 on 3. A 0. I committed something I could have passed, but I don't think I had that realm. So I take 2 damage. I'll put 1 on Jeremiah Kirby. And I'll put 1 on Charlie. That's fine. Okay. Right, I need to accomplish this. Come on, Elia. We're going to evade. Maybe I use the mirror for this. I do need that, don't I? Yes, I'm going to use the mirror on this. 5 on 4. Skull. Skull here is -2. So I need to add 1. I could commit the stray cat. Like I said before, gang up. I'd be swinging at 4. If I commit the vicious blow to that, I'd be 5. Miss Doyle make it 7. Zeal will let me fight at 5. Jeremiah. 7. Do I have another fist commit? I don't think I do. I've got the toe-to-toe, but I'm not going to commit that. I am going to commit the stray cat to accomplish this evade. 6 on 4. So we evade it and we move. We're moving in. This is profoundly dumb, but it's what we are doing. Because if I don't, the board state will just fill up. That spends my 4 clues. That was my first action. All right. Gang up. Get him. We're going to commit vicious blow. We have 3 classes on the board. So we're swinging 4. 5 will exhaust Miss Doyle to make it 7 on 3. 0 is a pass. That is 5 damage. And now we're going to attack again using Zeal. 5, 6, 7. 7 on 3. -2. Seeping Nightmare. Defeated. These cards go away. Okay. Now, can I mop up with 1 toe-to-toe and Zeal? And that's basically it. Well, we're going to find out. This Glacial Phantasm hits me for 1 and 1, but I don't get any Tekeli-Lees. We'll put that also on Alaya. Then this guy moves up here. This guy readies during upkeep. And let's do our upkeep. Michael Lee, you are coming out slightly late, but maybe you are exactly the last piece we need to mop things up. Let's find out. 1 of 2. I'm also aware that there's the parlay to get the dynamite. Skeptical, but I'm keeping it in mind. What is our card? A Paraphobia. Oh, that's not good. I don't have any clues to drop. And this place's shelter is 7. I might be stuck putting a frost token in the bag. Let's think this through. What is my turn? I think it is a last evade from Alaya to scoot over here. Play Jeremiah Kerr, but play Michael Lee and investigate to get a clue on, to get an evidence onto him. Then these guys will move here. There will be a death ball, but they'll all be in one place. I can get a couple more clues. Michael Lee has a lot of soak. And I have a toe-to-toe. This is willpower 7. Leroy Jenkins. It did work out. But now I've got to deal with this nonsense. All right, what can I feasibly commit? In this location, skulls are -4. I want to be at 6 with this evade, so I need to do 1, which could be Jeremiah, maybe. That would give me the free move. I would play Michael Lee. I would do an investigate. With Michael Lee, I'd be swinging at 3. I could exhaust him to get up to 5. That'd be fine. I don't really need these commits for that. So maybe I can. Okay. Yes. This is okay. We are going to... It's Charlie Math. We're going to exhaust Miss Doyle. We're going to exhaust the Familiar Spirit. So we're at 5 on 7. Maybe I can get this high enough that it doesn't hit too badly in the horror department. Do I do Zeal as well? Or Jeremiah as well? 6 on 7? Elia will do 5. Zeal will make it 7. I could commit this Voice of Ra. I'm probably not going to play anything else. Yeah, we're going to exhaust Zeal as well. And we're going to commit this Voice of Ra to make it 7 on 7. We only failed by 1. We'll take 1 horror. Okay. Elia. Last evade. I didn't mean to exhaust Zeal. I meant to exhaust Jeremiah Kirby, so I have a +2 on this. Didn't change anything. 5, 7 against 2. +1 is a pass. He's evaded, and we scoot over here. We spend 4 to play Michael Lee. We have +1 combat, +1 intellect. We're going to investigate. We're going to exhaust Michael Lee. So he gives +3 on investigate. So we're testing 6 on 2. -1 is a pass. We get a clue, but more importantly, we put an evidence on Michael Lee. He gets it even if he's exhausted. You need to exhaust him to get the extra damage, but he can pick up evidence even when he's exhausted. Enemies. This guy readies. The horde is coming. Upkeep. Med student. Could be relevant. Oh, also, with Guardian, I have accomplished the Jack of all trades. So that's good. Mythos. 2. Now this actually advances. I could either add a Frost, or I could shuffle 2 Tekele-Lees into my deck. And I think I'm going to do the 2 Tekele-Lees. 1, 2. I have 6 turns. Kill these things. Or to get 4 clues and then spend them to resign. But I would rather defeat these things. With Michael Lee, maybe we can do it. What's my card? Polar Mirage. I mean, I just won't get this clue. Okay. Let's think. Part of me wants to Leroy it up again, because that worked so well last time. If I moved in, the important one to kill first is the Manifestation of Madness, because it shuffles Tekele-Lees into the deck with each attack. So, if I moved in, and I don't want to toe-to-toe it, for that reason. If I moved in, if I attacked exhausted Michael Lee. The other issue, though, is that at this location, the skulls are -4, and that is a problem. If I moved in, if I attacked with Zeal, exhausted Michael Lee, I'd be swinging at 6. I could add one more with the Familiar Spirit to be 7. But then my other attack, 4, 5, 6, and I could Scrying Mirror. If I manage to defeat that, then I'll take a damage and a horror from each of them, which I could take because Michael Lee has Soak. And then the following round, something will happen. I could toe-to-toe to do 2 damage to the Glacial Phantasm. And then I could beat it down. I'll take 1 more hit from the Skittering Nonsense, and then maybe I can beat it down the following turn. With a bunch of 1 damage hits. I think that's the way to go. The longer I spend, like what's the other option? The other option is like move here, investigate twice to put more evidence on Michael Lee. Now he can only do the extra damage once a round. Better if I had Bonnie Walsh, then I could ready him mid-turn and do it twice. But there is the reality that the skulls are only -2 here. Oh, but the Frost is -3 here. This is probably not the place that I want to do that fight. I don't want to do it here where there's a Kindred Mist. Frost is 2 worse. We're going in. Heck it. Charge. This is really dumb. But man, is it going to feel good if it works. Okay. Let's do this. We're going to attack. We're going to exhaust Michael Lee and spend this evidence. We're going to attack using Zeal on the Manifestation of Madness. So we are testing 6 against 3. We're going to use the Scrying Mirror. What is my token? Welp. That's a bad auto-fail. Okay. Okay. I can still swing at 6. Fight at 6. Do 1 damage to something. If I hit. Then I will take 3 damage and 3 horror. Which is a lot. Miss Doyle can take 1 and 1. Elia can die. And Charlie can take 1 and 1. Next turn, we could still make this work. Not panicking yet. We are going to attack the Manifestation of Madness. 2, 4, 5, 6. 6 on 3. No, 7 on 3. We hit. We did damage. Fine. The enemies pummel us. We do get 2 Tekeli Lees, which is unfortunate, but we don't get 1 from the Phantasm. All right. We are going to put... I guess we don't need to defeat Elia yet. We're going to put 1 and 1 on Michael Lee. And we're going to put 2 and 2 on Charlie. And we get 1, 2 to Kaylee Lee's. Upkeep. Augur. So, this means... What does this mean? What does this mean? It means that if I discarded Zeal for an auto-succeed fight, then I could play Augur. And if I did the discard with Augur Investigate, which would trigger attacks of opportunity, I could then put Zeal right back into play. Might be important. 3 of 6 Doom. A Kindred Mist. Oh, man. That the mythos, the world is doing its best to heck up our day. Okay. Whoops. We're going to attack the Manifestation of Madness. We're going to This is going to be a regular attack. We're going to use the scrying mirror on this. We're swinging at 2 and 3. What's our token? A skull. Ugh. Skulls here are -4. So we would need to get up to 7. Which we can do. As Michael Lee adds 3. So that's 5. Doyle adds 2. That's 7. That's a damage. Now we're going to attack with Zeal. We're swinging at 6. Michael Lee. 7. 8. Just in case we pull Frost into -4. So 8 on 3. -1. This guy's defeated. Good. Now, I think I have to toe-to-toe the skittering nonsense. I would love to do it on this, which is a higher fight, obviously. But otherwise, this is just going to keep hitting me. And I need to slow the bleeding. Now, because of the Kindred Mist, I have to draw the Takalili. But, what's the worst that can happen? Don't answer that. We're going to play toe-to-toe. I apologize that this is slow going, but this is tricky stuff. But I still think it is potentially doable if I play this right. So I take a damage and a horror. We're going to put that maybe I let it defeat the familiar spirit. Because I could play the med student next turn. I will take a damage and a horror, but then the med student will heal a damage and a horror, and then she could soak another damage and a horror. She's essentially 2 cost for 2 each. Yeah, I think the familiar spirit, whoops. Back on Michael. I think the familiar spirit has done its job. This guy is defeated, and I have to draw a Takalili. Right? That's how Kindred Mist works. Draw it, and then it goes in the bottom of my deck. Okay. Discard 1 card at random from your hand. Well, it could be worse, I think. Right, this is a random. The E-Cash, fine. Now that goes in the bottom of my deck. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Enemies. This hits me for 1 and 1. Kindred Mist gets discarded at end of the round. Technically, hasn't happened yet. So here's the other thing. I brought Elia, not just to use his evade ability to help me navigate this scenario, which he has absolutely done, but also because I want him to be defeated. One of the deck restrictions for this campaign play-along that I've taken on is to have 8 creatures in my deck. That you may have been wondering, why do I have a familiar spirit when I'm not running any arcane assets yet? The answer is because it's a stand-in for what will be the 8th creature, which will be Elias Dog Anyu. To get Anyu after this scenario, Elia has to die now. Now, the other point, though, is that unless I get a 2 damage thing, which I could draw a Vicious Blow, I could draw another toe-to-toe, right? These are all things that could happen. But otherwise, this guy's not dying next round. He will hit me again. And if I don't let Elia die now, I could still tap him for another +1 during the attacks next round. So, I think Elia's not going to die yet. I think I'll let him go next round. And this 1-1 I will put on Miss Doyle. All right. Whew. Upkeep. Kaylee Lee, take a horror. Michael Lee. All the more reason to get that med student played. Mythos. 4 of 6. White out. This goes away. It suddenly occurs to me that if this is an Ancient Evils, then I'm sunk. Well, I just got to go for it. We are going to attack. And we are going to use the Scrying Mirror on this attack. Is a regular attack, so 2 on 4. Cultist is -2. So I need to get up to 6. No, I'm at 1 and 4 because of whiteout. So I need to add 5. So +3 makes it 4. Jeremiah and Elia get us up to 6. That's a hit. That does a damage. I think I'm going to do the auto damage, the automatically successful with Zeal, then play Augur, and then try to attack again. 2, no, 1, 3, 5. That's not very good. On 4. No, maybe I just attack with Zeal, 6, Miss Doyle, 8. And I play the med student to get another +1. And try to get 2 hits in next round. No, I think that's the way. So I'm going to play the med student. I have to take a damage and a horror. But the med student will heal a damage and a horror. Now we're going to attack. Zeal, 5 + 1 from Michael Lee is 6. 8, 9 on 4. +1's a hit. Okay. Enemies. 1-1 defeats Elia. Sorry, man. At least I didn't just sack him. Like, this is down to the very wire. Upkeep. Take a horror. Someone's got to go. No, Charlie can still take 1 thanks to the med student. Mythos. 1 more for the menagerie. All right, 5 of 6. What do we get? Ice Shaft. Okay, maybe. Michael Lee can take a damage. Charlie can take a damage. So as long as I don't draw the frost and fail. So the question is, do I commit anything to this? I don't think so. Whiteout goes away. If I commit nothing to this, 1 on Michael, 1 on Charlie, then I just need to land 2 hits. Can I get up to 9 on both of the hits? Or can I get up to 9 on 1 hit and an auto success with Zeal? 2 + 3 from Michael Lee is 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. I could do the Zeal auto hit first and then play Augur fast. And then I'll have another +2 to play with. Does that make it at all important? No, I'm just going to face tank this. Yeah, I'm just going to face tank this. 1 on 3. Well, I wasn't going to get up to 5 anyway, but I do get another to Kaylee Lee. And I take 2 damage. So 1 on Michael, 1 on Charlie. Ooh. Shuffle 1 more into my deck. Okay. Last chance. Can we nail these 2 hits? Well, we can get 1. Actually, hang on. If I attack with Zeal and discard, automatically successful, that does a damage. This goes away. If I play Augur and I investigate, take a hit, who can defeat, I don't know, the med student. Then I can shuffle Augur into my deck to put Zeal into play, and then I can get, with my last action, I can do another automatically successful fight. A testless win. Now, the greedy option is to put Augur in play, attempt this parlay for the dynamite, and then try to defeat it. But I think that is a profoundly bad idea. We're going to do the testless win with the cat army. We're going to put Augur into play fast. We're going to investigate. I guess technically I could have done that first to get the evidence on Michael Lee. Profoundly funny. Yeah, we're going to investigate. Damage in a horror defeats the med student. She will be going in there. I'm just pulling Augur out. Then we shuffle Augur into the deck. Put Zeal back into play. No, not on the scrying mirror. Maybe he leaps out of the scrying mirror. And then last action, automatic success. This thing is defeated. There are no Eidolon enemies in play. On literally the very last action, with everybody 1 damage and 1 horror away from defeat, the cat army, we succeed. Resolution 1. Holy mackerel. What a fight. Ah. Oh boy. All right. That was wild. Miss Doyle, yeah. I mean, honestly, everybody, right? Like, even though I only got Michael Lee's evidence going once, the fact that he gave me a +1 combat and can exhaust for +3 to a combat test, that was vital. Jeremiah Kirby got me the scrying mirror. The scrying mirror was vital a few times. The scrying mirror, honestly, the most important test for the scrying mirror was the time I saw it was the tentacle. Because then that meant I didn't exhaust anything else into that test, and then allowed me to follow up with a fight test that did 1 extra damage, because as we saw, I needed every single point. So, honestly, the deck concept, notwithstanding adversity, worked out. And I'm happy about that. Resolution 1. We defeated the hunting creatures. Charlie defeated the hunting creatures. I guess it's a we. Whatever, it's fine. Is that really the first thing written in the campaign log? Campaign notes? I'll have to look back at the other scenarios. So we get 5 bonus experience +1 for having Scrying Mirror. So now Charlie has back up to 6 experience. I hadn't reset that after buying Michael Lee. We had 6 points to play with going into the Forbidden Peaks. Elia is sadly gone. He fought the good fight. I feel okay, even though I planned that he was going to go in this scenario. I feel good that he literally did everything possible to help me win the fight. Sure, one of those evades came up auto-fail, whatever, it's fine. But it wasn't like I just sacrificed him without needing to. We were literally down to the wire. Interlude 1. Now, here's the question. I have 3 visits. One of them is absolutely going to be Elia. Elia's crossed out, which means we get to add Anu to the deck. Whoops. Not what I wanted. Anu. My 8th creature. Cost 3. 2 health, 2 damage. I can exhaust her to do one of those 3 things, or discard her to do all 3. Move to a connecting location. So, at the very least, she's a Pathfinder on legs, which in solo, real handy. A boosted evade, so essentially evade with +3, and get +2 for your next skill test this round. Something about convincing Dyer to go on the expedition, it didn't seem relevant giving the crash. I mean, we convinced him to go and he immediately died. I don't know. It's funny, right? So we're going to add Anu to the deck, which means I will then upgrade Familiar Spirit into something actually more useful. I have 2 more visits. My default always is to visit Avery and get rid of a Frost. How many Tekeli Lees do... Oh, wait a minute. Actually, hold on. Is it visiting Dyer that removes Tekeli Lees? I didn't even think about that. Oh, it is. I was going to say, should I get rid of a Frost or get rid of Tekeli Lees? I can't. I can't get rid of Tekeli Lees because Dyer is dead. So I probably want to get rid of the Frost. Now, my 3rd visit. One option is to take Dire Sketches. Card draw, good. One of the things that I'm going to be adding into the deck, I think, I need to do some testing for Forbidden Peaks, is cards to give me card draw. There is not a ton, but there is one tailor-made for Charlie and this deck, which is Protecting the Anirnic. Which, fast, when an ally is defeated or discarded, you can either return it to hand or draw 3 cards. Defeated or discarded is the key point there. I can play it after sacking a Raven, or a Stray Cat, or even one of Miss Doyle's cats, and draw 3 cards for a card, and I think it costs 1 resource. I'm probably going to put 2 in my deck. Dire Sketches is also more draw. Good to add. My other options would be to get 2 additional cards to go into Scenario 2, which is good. I could heal a physical trauma. I could get an extra experience from Cookie. Scouted the mountain pass with Ellsworth. I think that removes like a clue from the starting location. I could start with 3 additional resources with Takata. I am thinking I may take Takata going forward. Again, I need to test, but it's real handy to have extra resources on tap, especially at the beginning, but even going forward. Or do I attempt the secret ending? Do I visit Kensler, which does nothing right now, but if Kensler isn't randomly selected to die in Forbidden Peaks, which would be a 1 out of 7 chance, I will be playing Fatal Mirage afterwards, since 3 people will be dead, whoever the 3rd person is. I could make Kensler resolute. And then I could go for the secret ending. I've never gotten the secret ending. I want dire sketches, but I think I'm going to try. Since Kensler is alive right now, I think I'm going to try for it. Yep, I'm committing. I'm going to visit Avery to get rid of the frost. And Dr. Kensler is sharing her research with me. What the heck? That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. And there we go. That is the end of Ice and Death. Thank you very much for watching. I know this ran long, but man, was Ice and Death 3 touch and go. I do think I had to Leroy Jenkins it. If I had not, then things would have just snowballed. We're going into Forbidden Peaks with 5 Tekeli-Lees in deck. That is going to be hard. I'm going to need to be real selective about what I try to bring up the mountain. I'm going to need to think it through. I'm absolutely putting in the Protecting the Nernix to get card draw. How much do they cost to add? Oh, here it is. 2 each. So I could put 2 in, then I have 2 more points to play with. I was thinking about Witten Green to try to help get the Rod of Animalism, which is good when I get it in play, but not for the Forbidden Peaks, where there are so few locations and it's such a struggle to open them. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with my other 2 points. I could add in 2 the level 1 Brand of Cthulhu's, so that I have 1 more option that does 2 damage at a clip. I could take 1 and I could upgrade Leo DeLuca to level 1, which is meaningful because it reduces his cost from 6 to 5, which means Jeremiah Kirby could fetch him. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I need to think it through. I got options, but I think for now, that's it from me. Thank you, anyone watching. Good luck with your own campaign play-along sessions, and until next week, take it easy, everyone.